Michigan. Her books of poetry include When the Believer's Chin Points Toward the Moon and Music Out of Brown Houses. She was awarded first place in the International Barbara Mandingo Kelly Peace Poetry Contest and was a finalist in the National War Poetry Contest. Share with us.
How many have never been to a poetry reading here before? Oh my gosh. I think we should give them a big hand for coming. I think too many people avoid poetry readings because they say, I don't get poetry. So here's a tip. Poetry is one of those wonderful things that engage the listener and the reader and the writer to sort of take you on a journey with your own associations with the images. There's no one right or wrong way to react to a poem. So I just want to thank you for coming, because they say most of the people that buy poetry books are other poets. So I think any opportunity we can have to widen the circle of appreciation and exposure to poetry is wonderful. So again, thank you to the museum for continuing this annual event. This is a very interesting process for a writer to engage with a visual artist. Gotta make sure I get my bifocals at the right angle here. Okay. The title of the poem is They Could Be Dropping Cabbage Moths. Pulling at their wings as they flick them from their hands, they could be dropping cabbage moths off that other world they are standing on. 1, 2, 3. Mr. Cardigan Sweater has a fat baby at home gnawing on a biscuit. Outside his house, car motors drown the blanket of birds. Mr. Watercolor Blue has a sister with a belly full of water who is swimming through the trees trying to find what is inside them. Mr. Vest and White Shirt stopped writing his novel at home on his desk called The Man Who Ate the Piano. They could be my father. They could be your father, or brother, or son. The boulders below glance like Narcissus into the water. Autumn pokes spindly black forks from the trees that surround them. Have you ever wanted to jump off a cliff, descend into the underworld and not come up for air? When one climbs, one's thoughts wander. Of course, reveries seduce us the way perfect paintings do, with burnt umber and shades of turquoise so subtle they could forgive the most hardened criminal. Once I lit a match to a corn husk that swallowed up my uncle's barn and curled my cousin's shoe as she tried to stop the blaze. My breast was struck with lightning. I could never paint the color of that fire. Dear friend who feels helpless, does envy ever rub you so raw it makes your skin bleed? Do you ever look at 3 handsome youths in the most perfect painting, posing serenely on a ledge, their feet so solid they show no signs of falter, appearing in that moment that they have captured the rest of their lives there on that cliff together? Until a dead body washes up below them. Someone who could not hold secrets anymore. They could go home and find their wife had run off with a circus performer and only left a note for how to mix the baby's formula. They could discover the body in the water underneath them is their boss or their mother. They could ache painfully from the beauty of that sky, the kestrel diving off the bridge, the pelican feeding her young. They might reach out for the deep voice of their friend, the mossy hair of their lover, the rope of weeds that ties the water to the shore. They do not fully know yet stories of fall and redemption. Did the cabbage moths drown, or were they eaten by the kestrel? They blush and say nothing. As I write this poem, I tell them that light glitters when the moon sneezes. You can find rocks that sparkle like daisies, and sometimes you can win a game of Scrabble, except if you play with Ruth. What would happen if you took off your clothes and dove off the abutment? That is for you to answer. We conjure our lives and ask God to paint himself in. God laughs.